Here in time I'm gonna do in the morning. Hey Instagram, it's Speak T from the Pattersons taking the train to the bed. Uh, Welcome into the Grand Rising Report for it's a Sunday. You know, let me tell you what happened. I'm here. My sense of it's days of things that. Yesterday I thought it was Sunday, and so I actually read from because on Sundays, Sundays I read and then I riff off the reading. You see, whatever I'm reading, right? That's a Sunday. Sundays whatever I said. Mondays is me day. Tuesday is like talk about stuff in the states. Wednesdays talk about stuff in the world. Thursdays is audio drama day. Good day. And Fridays is whatever I just wrapped up during the week, whatever it is. And then Saturday is like whatever comes to my head. And I thought Saturday was Sunday, so I read from the book that I'm reading from, Tagore, because we're in India. And I figured I read Tagore is the thing, and so I read it. I really liked it, and then now I like it since I'm not a very good reader. I mean, I have to. Don't worry about that part. So I actually ended up reading it twice, a bunch of times, right? So now I got to read tonight from the book, but I like this piece so much that I'm gonna read it again tonight. So you see how there are no, as Miles Davis would say, there are no mistakes. The only way you take things. So in other words, I like it so much. I think folks should like it. So I'm you know what I mean? Oh, in DJ circles, right? Certain DJs, if they really like your song, what they will force you to like it. I'm talking about DJs when they're in the dance floor, right? And what they might do is like they'll keep on pumping that song on, they'll pump it. So in the tradition of the DJs, I'm talking about specifically DJs that come from the States. Okay, now I shouldn't say DJs, right? And remember, when I travel, sometimes people say, "What do you do?" And I say, "Well, I'm in radio," And they say, "Oh, are you a DJ?" And I said, "No, I'm in charge of the DJs." You have to know I used to be arts director at WBA. I was making music director, which means I was in charge of the DJs. That's not the point. So what I'm going to do, the thing I read yesterday, I'm gonna read it again right now, and then tonight when I gotta read, I'm gonna read it again. So you're gonna love this. Darn it, let me put my glasses on so you know. You're gonna learn. You gonna learn. That's a stop. Don't worry about that. This is one. This is the 10th. It's short. Don't worry about it. Here you go. Here is thy footstool. There rest thy feet where live the poorest, lowest, and lost. When I try to bow to thee, my obstinance cannot reach down to the depths where thy feet rest among the poorest, and lowest, and lost. Pride can never approach to where thou walkest in the clothes of the humble among the poorest, the lowest, and lost. My heart can never find its way to where thou keepest company with the companionless among the poorest, the lowest, and the lost. You're going to hear it again tonight when I do my regular commentary. But this is a Grand Rising Report. It's supposed to be what I learned, experienced for the last day or so, right? Wow. Stuff has been happening. There was a lot of times what I do is I talk to you like this. I'm just blah 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 blah. When I get focused, what I do when I write, that's when I'm conscious, right? I reply to a lot of stuff on the internet, right? Because you know what they say, the internet always wins. Example: there's this big theme. I shouldn't say. There's a war. There's a battle. There's a battle going on. Well, the DRC, poor DRC. Congo. First there was the rubber, then there was the cutting off the hands, then there was rubber for bicycles, and then the all the minerals, and then this and that, and the trees, and the gorillas, and then the coltan, so currently it's the coltan. Well, I wrote a thing because South African President Cyril Ramaphosa started, saying, "Hey, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, he's mostly responsible for this stuff." Let me explain. No, he's mostly responsible for this stuff, and so there's this thing going on, and of course Kagame wasn't going to take that, so he said, "Hey, mind your own business, and if you dare come to get, if you dare come, he did the South Bronx, and for you to get something, you come at it, you're gonna give some." So there's gonna be the fight. So in my comments, I said, as far as I understand, what I didn't say it like this. I'm wrapping it up. I'm paraphrasing for you. As far as I understand, the first time I came across Paul was I'm sorry, I called him Paul. President Kagame was he was the president at the time. He was one of Bill Clinton's boys. In other words, Bill Clinton is the one that brought him into the fore. Oh man, this is the I'll tell you about that later. And and he's been there since, and he died, built this big city. It's a small country, but but you can do stuff with a small country, like that. And then, but the reason why Ramaphosa was set off, President Ramaphosa was set off because they sent some South African troops to help in the fight to free the city and a centerpiece of the coltan extraction because of that. And some of these fighters, soldiers, were killed. I mean, in the battle, expected to be killed, right? So Ramaphosa got over. Hey, you okay. Couple of problems with that. I wrote. I'm paraphrasing now. I'm paraphrasing and expanding on what I wrote. One, yeah, Kagame is probably if it's a little country like that, Kagame got some backing, and as precious as coltan is, or whatever they're mining, right? It's like there's a lot of people in the world that need it. In fact, let me explain something to you. I first knew about coltan in the 90s. Yeah, the late 90s, because look, my association with WBAI is good. I'm an arts person, but there's all kinds of political stuff. And I was there one time. This was in the late 90s, just hanging out. I already stopped being the arts director, and I was just hanging out. And there was this guy on the air because we interview political things. In fact, if you want to know something ahead of time, then you check out a Pacifica station. You'll learn more than you need to know. Won't be no commercials, blah, blah. Every once in a while, they have to ask you for money. Don't worry about that part. Give them some money, right? And the guy was saying about, hey, what's happening in the DRC is that, all these companies, coltan, and then he gives an example. He said one time something happened, some technical thing happened, and the coltan was shut down for like a week. And it affected Japan, who's making cell phones. It affected Japan for whenever it was shut down, for a whole week. So I knew back in the 90s. And then, of course, you have, what's the journalist? Pilger, John Pilger out of England, or I guess he was Australian, whatever John Pilger, great guy. Peace and blessings on his eternal. So he did this whole piece a long time ago. I read it was an article or something he wrote. And this was in the early 2000s, must have been. And he even did a report, whatever he did. And then recently, in the last couple of years, there's a guy that went in and took pictures of that. So now this is just really getting momentum, right? And here's the thing. Like I said, the internet always wins. And actually, let's say technology these days in the hands of everyone always wins. So there's satellite stuff, you can see. So whatever is happening between whoever is backing this. In fact, I saw it. Remember, there's this chart that they have broken down. Then they have all these companies or all these countries that are backing getting the coltan out for free. Well, yeah, for pennies on the dollar, as they say, right? So that's that. Y'all do that research. But here's the problem with Cyril Ramaphosa. I guess, he just did this whole land. Well, we leave that alone. He did this whole taking the land back, because of South Africa, and the colonizer came and did their thing, and they stayed longer than they stayed, and then we had what do you call it? Trying to get rid of apartheid, and then there was some compromises. Deepa got out of jail, and then they said, well, here's the thing, man. We can stop this thing. Here's what we do, right? We'll give the land to the Afrikaners, the people, and we'll give the banking to England, and y'all can have the singing and the dancing and the politics, right? That's what I'm just saying. So it's not really, it wasn't really a liberation struggle as much as an armistice. Means that they just stopped fighting. And it's worse than an armistice because then there's, okay, you can figure that out. But here's the thing. If you're going to send troops into an area, your troops, don't get me wrong, South Africa, well, don't get me wrong, South Africa, they sent firefighters to California. Yes, another thing happened a few years ago. They sent people there to help dig people out, some whatever it is, right? But troops, in a right thing, your troops that you send, even if they're highly trained, they have to be battle tested, especially in something like this been going on, and you have a lot of mercenaries, people all over the place. You have to be battle tested. I'm just telling you. So if you can send people that are not battle tested, like who was that? Kenya had tried to send people to Haiti, and they were basically policemen. Well, if your troops are not battle tested, they're basically policemen. So they sent, basically, I'm trying to say, they sent policemen into a pitched battle, into this conflict. So what do you expect to happen? You don't have the logistics. I mean, I guess you didn't have the satellites to know what's going on. You ain't got no drones. See, that's what's happening. Well, all I'm trying to say is this. Let me put it this way. I was in the Air Force, and when I was in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force, right? And I went out for pararescue. Right? Pararescue is the elite, like I don't even say like the Deltas and the SEALs, because they're even more elite than them. Because their mission, the pararescue, as the name says, pararescue. You go into a place to rescue your peoples, okay? You go to rescue. You don't go to assassinate and cause problems and cause a regime change. No, you go into rescue. And what do they do? They go to rescue, to fires. Now, the thing is, they're medics, but they're trained in such a way that they're also soldiers. They know what's going on. So if you come in and you're extracting somebody and you get resistance, they're trained to bang, bang, bang their way out of the situation. You see? So if you're sending in mercenaries and Delties and Sealies to someplace, their mission, because remember, they come from places where they say their mission is to kill them, or their mission is to, I don't know what their mission is, right? So that's what they do. They don't rescue nobody. They kill and leave. So I'm trying to say, look, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say, I'm not even going to suggest, I'm saying it would behoove those people, especially if you don't have an army that's had a battle testing in a while, because remember, it's been, 20 years since South Africa has been, given the right to sing and dance and run politics, right? Well, but you ain't been fighting nobody. There's no wars. The people love you, see? So you're going to a conflict zone and you ain't got no warriors. Just saying, this is what I learned in the last few hours. There's other stuff I did too, like I said. But anyway, for another day, I got to go. It's just upsetting to me that, pop. Okay, one more thing. One tiny thing. Well, not tiny. It's tiny. When I first came to South Africa, like 20 years ago, 22, whatever years ago, right? Now, I personally took a bus. Anyway, one of the first books I read was Lewis Nkosi's Underground People. Lewis Nkosi, he wrote for Drum Magazine, and where they had that underground. Anyway, he was a great writer. Peace and blessings on his soul. He wrote a thing called a Madiba book that I read. I wasn't as good at it. But Underground People is about this administrator, right? And for a certain sense, he had to go into the front lines, into the battle. Now, what's happening is that he had administrative mind, but when he battled, he had to have a battle mind. So, and you read the book, Underground People. It's a great read. But what I was trying to say, these people who do not know about battle, who are not battle tested, who know nothing about war, especially if you ain't been successful in your own liberation, you're gonna make plans. It ain't gonna work. I'm just like, okay. I said I was gonna go. I'm going now. Check y'all later. Bye. See ya.